Go. Now we should be in the right live. I'm sorry, guys. I just want to make sure there's not another live that's still running. It shouldn't be because I just clicked it off. Let me make sure. Okay.
Now it says 5 days.
Okay, let me get rid of this one over here. I'm just going to get rid of this. I'm going to get rid of it. Just delete it. Delete it forever. I understand that I'm going to delete that forever. Forever.
No one was there.
All right, okay. So we'll go to the Murdaugh trial. All right, so if you watched today, it was a little more action than yesterday. Hillbilly Pie, I don't know where you were for to sell your stuff, because Hillbilly has more than seeds. They make bracelets too. I don't know, maybe they fell asleep after making bread again today. I don't know. But you can always try again on Saturday. Hi, GB. And wow, they put you as new members here too. They put that in too. That's great. Hi, welcome to High Speed Drifter. Thank you for becoming a Deputy Rambler. And to Cherry, thank you for renewing your membership. Hello, Linda. Hi, Rough and Ready. Kevin, 2 scooter check. There you are. Okay. GB, Nightbot, Nicole, Chris Ree, Farm Wife, and ready. Where did I hope our people didn't go to the other wrong live. Where's They're Always Listening? Oh, there's Barb Olson. Hi, Barb Olson. Coming in now. You watched for 9 hours today? Yeah. Well, it was more interesting today, and what was the most interesting thing was the Snapchat video. Has everyone here seen the Snapchat video? I do have it up. If you want me to play just the Snapchat video, I can play it if you didn't see it. Hi, Carolyn P. Hi, Christy Holland. But let's talk about some things. First, they're always listening. Do you know my friend, More Facilitation? Okay, sorry. Anyway, his phone, Alex's phone, did you catch that? It had the call log. And there were calls missing from, well, it had calls like May and June, and then a chunk of calls were missing, and then the calls. And they said, well, how would that chunk of calls be missing? Well, that was manually deleted. Now, isn't that stupid? Isn't that beyond stupid? Because whoever his carrier is, let's say it's Verizon or AT&T or whatever, they can get your phone records. So even if you delete it, yes, hi Slam RN, we're live. Look, I'm live. It's real live. Don't believe what you hear out there. I'm really live. Is it live or is it Memorex? It's live. So isn't that stupid? Who would think that if you delete your phone calls, that they're not going to get them off your phone? It's just dumb. So I don't know what he thought by doing that, because it's stupid. He got caught there, okay, deleting phone calls. And then they had the 2 friends of Paul come on. And the one was the kid that he was taking care of his dog, Cash, the chocolate lab. And that was the last text that he had to that kid that we saw yesterday. And then they were trying to find out something happened to the dog's tail. So he asked Paul to do something for him, and then he couldn't get a hold of Paul. So then he texted Maggie, and he said to Maggie, please have Paul call me. But of course she didn't get that. A very bad day for Alex. Yeah, I think the prosecution won today. He freaked when the guy said the thing about the phone calls being deleted. He was having a few freak out moments today. So I don't think it was good, and I think he was like staring those kids down, and those kids said that Alex was like a second family. The one kid, did you notice the one kid? He's like, he had his head up like this. Yes. That was driving me insane. Like, I didn't know whether he was straining to look up at something. I have no idea. But anyway, he said that they called Alex Mr. Alex or Big Red. They called Maggie Miss Maggie. They called Buster Bus. That they went through the grandpa's names. They called Randolph. What did they call him again? Oh gosh, I forget the name he called him. But they wanted you to know that they were what?
Buster?
No, not Buster. No. This friend had a nickname for the grandfather. But they wanted you to know that these were kids. The second kid, the Will Loving, he met them on Edisto Island, Edisto Beach, Edisto Island, with some other kids. And the other kid knew them from living next door, I think when they had the house in Hampton. Okay, Scooter. I think he was trying to keep it together because of how hard. Oh, to keep it. Yeah, I bet. I bet it was, Bridget. And I bet maybe he didn't want to be stared down or something. And if you looked up like this, you didn't have to look into Alex's eyes or something. Oh, I'm not saying anything with how they talked. No. Yes, Slam, no. I'm just saying that the reason they said they have nicknames is because they're trying to show how close they were with the family. It was like family. That's when it's very hard for these kids. The kid broke down when he said that he couldn't get a hold of Paul, and that when he found out he died, he asked about the dog, and then he went to sleep. Then he was woken up, or he got up at 5 a.m, and he had a text from his friend Nolan, and then he called him back, and then Nolan told him that what happened. So, and he said Paul was a good guy, and they fished, and they went hunting together, and he talked about the guns, and he talked about the family, and all of that. And they asked them what the relationship was like between Maggie and Paul and Alex and Paul. And they said, good. They didn't notice anything bad. Now, the Snapchat, and I will just bring it up real fast, just the video. We won't go through it. It's literally so quick because maybe you didn't see it, and I just want to pull it up. Let me just see here. Grab it in my thing. Because this is really telling, because Alex said they weren't together at the kennels. Remember when he was leaving, he was calling Maggie. She was allegedly in the house, and he was going to see his mother, and he was texting her, and she wasn't answering. And this puts them all together in the place where these two people were killed moments before they were shot to death. So really quite damning. I think the defense was trying to go with, because it's posted at that time, does that mean that it was really taken at that time? Kind of like that. Could it have been saved later? I think they were trying to put some reasonable doubt onto when it was actually recorded. But I don't think that worked out well for them. Okay, let me pull this over here. One sec. Okay. Okay, and if you're in Zoom, you're not going to hear it, but it's very short.
Get back! Get back! Quit, Cash. Come on. Quit. It's okay. Come here. It's not bad. Come here, Cash. Shit. Come here. Post it. Cash.
Hey, he's got a bird in his mouth.
Hey, Bubba.
That's a guinea.
This is a chicken.
Come here, Bubba.
Come here, Cash.
Come here, Bubba.
Cash. Quit.
Now, everybody sounds pretty good there, right? They don't sound like they were screaming at each other. She says, hey, he's got a bird in his mouth. And that's a chicken. And then she says it's a guinea, meaning, I guess, a guinea hen. And you hear Alex in the back saying, like, good job, Bubba, or something like that, right? Isn't that what you hear? And the friends said 100%. It's all three of them. 100%. And again, this is minutes before these two people were shot to death. I'll listen to it one more time.
Get back. Get back. Quit, Cash. Come on. Quit. It's okay. Come here. It's not bad. Come here, Cash. Shit. Come here. Post it. Cash.
Hey, he's got a bird in his mouth.
Hey, Bubba.
That's a guinea.
This is a chicken.
Come here, Bubba.
Come here, Cash.
Come here, Bubba.
Cash. Quit.
Okay, so I hear you, Bridget. It's senseless and all about money, right? And how does he do that? They don't even sound, they sound like they're having a good time. And then you just snap, or you hire somebody to do this, or you have somebody there that you hired that's going to do this. Like, what happened? Hey, true crime girl. So, yeah, we were watching the Snapchat. We were just listening to, did you see the Snapchat, True Crime Girl? This is what was pretty big in court today. Oh, here, I'll let you watch it. This is the Snapchat video from the Murdaugh trial that's going to play as Maggie, Paul, and Alex at the scene, the crime scene.
Get back. Get back. Quit, Cash. Come on. Quit. It's okay. Come here. It's not bad. Come here, Cash. Shit. Come here. Post it. Cash.
Hey, he's got a bird in his mouth.
Hey, Bubba.
That's a guinea.
This is a chicken.
Come here, Bubba.
Come here, Cash.
Come here, Bubba.
Cash. Quit.
It sounds like there's water running. Do you hear that? I hear water running.
No.
You don't hear water running?
I do. I hear it.
Does
I do
anybody
hear it.
hear water running on that? I think somebody's spraying something down with the hose.
I hear it.
Okay, and I'm surprised that they didn't really touch on that, because you can definitely hear a hose. And it's weird
hear it
because
too.
when she says he's got a bird in his mouth, then it sounds like Paul says it's a chicken. Kind of reminds me of my aunt, the way she sounds. I hear water and the floor is wet. Hi, butterfly lover. Yeah. You hear it too. Okay, so there's their water. Maybe the bird mess, maybe the dog kennels, because there's another dog. They're definitely calling a dog named Bubba. And he's got a chicken. And isn't there a dead chicken that ends up on the top of a dog crate? And if Paul is in those kennels, and I want to go back and look at the layout, because he definitely sees what's going on if he's the one that's saying it's a chicken. Because it doesn't sound like the father's voice, right? I bet he had to clean up a bit. That too, but what I'm saying, that water, it does help them a little bit that water is already, being turned on. Is it normal to hold him by the tail? No, Julianne, the dog had something wrong with its tail. This is the whole reason he was talking to his friend, the one that was on the stand today. And he was trying to get a picture of what was wrong with the tail because the friend wanted to send it to his girlfriend's friend who's a vet tech. So he was trying to get a picture of the dog's tail. That's what he was doing. He wasn't just trying to hold the dog, but he was trying to get the dog's tail and to get a picture of it, which I don't think he ever got.
I think they were called down there, and I think he did it himself. That's just my opinion. I think that's what was done, but he could have hired someone. Who knows?
So, yeah, he wasn't trying to hurt, he wasn't just trying to hold the dog by the tail. No. And so let me just X out of that. I think Paul says it's a chicken, and Alex says something. Yeah, Bubba. The stump of the tail looked a little swollen. Yeah, it didn't look like anything majorly wrong with the dog. I thought the dog got bit or something, you know what I mean? But hold on 1 second. Okay, so what they're calling today is some of the headlines say that Maggie and Paul spoke from the grave today through their phone records, as the jury heard more about her cell phone records as well as Paul's and Alex's, right? So let's see what happened. We heard a lot from this guy today. He told us all about, and he was the expert, okay? He was qualified as an expert. And that's Britt Dove, SLED agent specialist in computer forensics. He started to go over a few more things on Maggie's phone. And he said that the data showed Find My iPhone was activated on Maggie's phone briefly at around 10:05 p.m. But he was unsure about the circumstances. So that would be weird. 10:05 p.m. it was activated. That's when, allegedly, Alex was returning home. He said it could have been someone trying to locate the phone remotely or an app simply running in the background. He said that Maggie's location data was pretty locked down and no location data found from the time of the murder. She used location on the Maps app earlier in the day, but nothing recently. And the jury was reminded that Maggie had most of her apps to set to access location only when being actively used. Then Alex's phone. They had a full solid-state hard drive filled with his cell phone data, and certain things were removed due to attorney-client privilege. Dove said that he got the data September of 2021, 3 months after the murders. He said Alex's phone records aren't as thorough as Maggie's because internal data logs on phone overwrite and are deleted after a certain amount of time. Alex's call log includes May 30th at 5:35 p.m. It's a FaceTime call that was answered. And this is what I mean. Then it goes to June 4th at 3:41 and 4:35 p.m. That was a FaceTime call not answered. And then it jumps to June 7th at 10:25 p.m. FaceTime call not answered. So they're like, well, where are all the calls, earlier that he made? And he couldn't explain, again, why the log didn't include those calls. that Alex made to Maggie on the night of June 7th. They were seen on Maggie's log, not Alex's. Dove said there's large gaps in the call log on Alex's phone, which can most likely be explained by manual removal by someone using the phone itself. He isn't aware of another way to remove calls and can't say when they were deleted. I don't know why they just didn't mention also subpoenaing the phone bills, because that would show all of that. Alex's text messages on June 7th, 4:48 p.m. opened at 5:10 p.m. He got a text from John Marvin to the family group chat with hospital room info on their father. At 4:48 p.m. another text was received, and he read it about 20 minutes later. And then at 8:31 p.m., remember this is June 7th, the day of the murders, it wasn't opened until the next day. It was a message from John Marvin to the family group about going to visit Dad. At 8:31 p.m., and it wasn't open until the next day, he got a message from Lynn in the family group, that's his sister, saying she can't visit Dad due to being in court all week. At 9:08 p.m., he got, there's a text from Alex to Maggie saying, going to go check on M, be right back. And then at 9:47, a text from Alex to Maggie saying, call me, babe. At 10:24, a text from Alex to Rogan Gibson, that's the guy that was on the stand, Cash's owner, Paul's friend, saying, call me. Okay, so he was asking him to call him at 10:24. Then Alex's phone movements on June 7th, the night of the murders, 6:02 to 6:07, 49 steps. 6:14 to 6:23, 173 steps. 6:42 to 6:43, 57 steps. 6:52 to 7:02, 283 steps. 7:03 to 7:11, 165 steps. 7:15 to 7:21, 200 steps. 7:28 to 7:37, 47 steps. 7:41 to 7:48, 29 steps. And 7:55 to 8:05, 270 steps. 8:05 to 8:09, 74 steps. And then again, weird. There were no steps between 8:09 and 9:02. And then from 9:02 to 9:06, there was 283 steps. From 9:22 to 9:32, there were 195 steps. And from 9:35 to 9:45, there were 60 steps. Dovry explained the testimony he gave on Tuesday when he said steps aren't always accurate and mostly indicate when the person is carrying the phone was in movement. He said a device won't record steps when it's sitting in a car. And said that based on his analysis, Alex's habit was to open text messages generally within an hour's time. Let's see now. Then his phone was entered into the evidence. Dove said that he received Paul's phone August of 2021 and Paul's phone log, his call log on June 7th. Now, Paul's phone log, at 8:32, he got an incoming call from a Robert Boyle and he rejected it. At 8:40, he made an outgoing call to Rogan Gibson. Again, that's Cash's owner. The call was answered. It lasted 4 minutes and 14 seconds. And that's when he's concerned about his dog's tail. Now, 8:44 p.m., there's an outgoing FaceTime call to Rogan Gibson. The call was answered. It lasted 11 seconds. Dove confirmed that there are no other calls that came in or went out after that. Paul's text messages, 8:29 p.m., he got a text from Megan Kimbrell saying, "You didn't send me any movie recommendations." At 8:29, a text from Paul back to Megan says, "Ha ha, I didn't have any good ones." 8:29, a text from Paul to Megan saying, "Will's might." 8:30, a text from Megan saying, "OMG" to Paul. 8:48, a text from Paul to Megan saying, "Star is Born" is the movie. At 8:48 and 39 seconds, there's text from Megan saying, "No, I need something happy and don't like watching sad movies." Now, she sent that, and Paul read that at 8:48 and 59 seconds. His battery at this time was 2 to 3%, and the next message came through at 8:49:35. Okay? And it was never read. So they were saying, do you think that, well, the defense is saying, couldn't he have powered his phone off? Oh, 2 to 3% answered that text, powered his phone off. Would the phone have enough charge to last to read the next text? Yes. But he never read that one. He never read another one from Rogan that said yo at 9:58. So if he had the phone on and was responding as quickly as he was to Megan, it's pretty obvious that whatever happened, happened at around 8:49. Okay, and that would put him right there. I mean, there's no way Alex wouldn't be there when this happened. I don't know how they're going to get around this. The phone dies at 10:34 p.m. after being nearly 2% battery around 8:49 p.m. So it lasted until 10:34. Dove said the phone stayed on for about an hour and 45 minutes. So that even makes it weirder because it wasn't shut off. Paul's phone data from 6:44 to 6:46 p.m. He had 3 location data entries recorded within seconds. The phone was grabbing info every few seconds, more than Maggie's phone. At 8:44 to 8:45, the camera is activated for about 50 seconds. The location shows Paul's phone is near the Red Roof building, and that's the old airplane hangar they sometimes call it the shed. 8:48:59, there's no movement of applications used were recorded after that time. So again, that's just about 8:49. Dove said location entries from Paul's phone are tied to Snapchat. He said his general impression of Paul's phone was it was doing a lot of calls, texts, and Snapchat from 6 p.m. until it lost battery and turned off. He said it showed almost continuous usage over 900 logged entries. Paul's phone movement on June 7th, the night of the murders, from 6:54 to 7:03, there were 105 steps recorded. From 7:14 to 7:22, 208 steps. 7:25 to 7:34, 139 steps. 7:35 to 7:41, there were 171 steps. 7:45 to 7:55, 89 steps. There was nothing recorded from 7:55 to 8:05 or 8:05 to 8:15. And then at 8:15 to 8:21, there was 140 steps. And 8:32 to 8:42, there was 283 steps. And no other steps were recorded after 8:41. However, small distances, Dove said, would not have been recorded. And Dove said nothing was recorded on Maggie or Alex's phones in terms of videos and photos, but he did find something relevant on Paul's phone. The camera activation on Paul's phone at 8:44 p.m. for about 50 seconds. The video recorded at that time was added to the evidence. The metadata on the video has GPS coordinates. In the video, you can see a dog in dog kennels and you hear 3 different voices. That's what we just watched. Okay? That was 8:44. We hear Paul talking, we hear Maggie, and she's saying something about a guinea hen. Paul says something about a chicken. Another male is heard, shouting in the background. Not bad shouting about the dog. Then the defense questioned Dove, and Dove acknowledged that texts can be seen without being marked open, and that they can if you're seeing them in your notifications, okay? And that someone whose phone is on a 2% battery might limit their usage of the phone to prolong the life. But that's highly unlikely since the texts were coming in so quickly and he was answering them all so quickly, right? When asked, Dove said it did not appear that Maggie and Alex their phones were moving at the same time based on timeline reports. He said that he had no involvement in processing of data from the infotainment center from Alex's Chevy Suburban SUV, but he has seen the results. So those should be interesting. Maggie's text messages on June 7th were explored further, and the list, let's see, we've got a list here, let's see. 3:55, she had an outgoing message saying, "Thank you, I'm waiting at the doctor. Alex wants me to come home. I have to leave the door open at Edisto. I trust Mexicans to shut and lock for me. His dad is back in the hospital. No cancer, it's pneumonia." See, there's that whole thing that he lured her there, where that's what we heard in the beginning. And then it was like, no, they kept saying, no, she was just going there as if she just was going there to have dinner. No, he told her to come there. So it was true she was at the doctor, but he said he wanted her to come to Mazzell. So again, outgoing message was, "Thank you, I'm waiting at the doctor. Alex wants me to come home. I have to leave the door open at Edisto. I trust Mexicans to shut and lock for me. His dad is back in hospital. No cancer, it's pneumonia." And then at 3:57, 2 minutes later, there was an outgoing message, and it says, "Alex is about to die. Hope he doesn't go down there to sleep. Alex needs to take care of himself as well." Okay, and then there was an incoming message from Alex that said, "How's your doctor's appointment?" And a received message that said, "Yes, he does. He told me he was tired when he left. I hope they can treat Mr. Randolph and make him comfortable." And then there was an outgoing message to Alex, and Maggie said, "Waiting as usual." She was at the doctor's office. 4:06 p.m., an outgoing message, "I'm scared for him and Alex and all of us." And they asked him, "Who do you think that's referring to, him?" He said, I assume it's Randolph Murdaugh, the father." And then an incoming message. "I know, just pray about it. Just pray about it and hope he gets a little better. Alex and you really need to relax. Always being on the go with little to no sleep is not healthy. I have a doctor's appointment in the morning in Beaufort. If I go to Mazzell, I will let you know." And then at 7:05 p.m., she had an incoming message from Alex, and it said, "Paul says you're getting a pedicure," and he has 2 exclamation points on that text, and he has pedicure in parentheses, and he says, "Call when you get done." At 8:31 p.m., there's a red status, in a group to several members of the Murdaugh family. John Marvin texts, "I plan to go over to visit Dad tomorrow afternoon. Is anyone else preparing to go?" 8:49 p.m., a read status, Lynn G., that's the sister of Alex, texts the same group saying she's in court all week. That's the last read status on Maggie's phone. Again, 8:49 p.m. That's it. 9:08 p.m. from Alex, and it was unread. It says, "Going to check on Mom. Be right back." We just heard about these, right? And then there's another 9:34 p.m., an unread status from Paul's friend Rogan Gibson. That's when he couldn't get Paul back. He said, "Tell Paul to call me." At 9:47, there was an unread status from Alex saying, "Call me, babe." Paul's phone was unlocked at 8:49 p.m. and didn't lock again. There was some background activity, but not apparent human activity. Maggie's phone was locked and the display was off 8:49 to 8:53 p.m. And at 8:53 p.m., the display came back on. The screen rotated to portrait mode, but it doesn't unlock. It had about 59 steps recorded with a distance to be about 31 meters. And when Dove was asked if the orientation change could have happened from Maggie's phone being thrown from the window of a car when the call came in, Dove said, "Sure, it's possible." Maggie's Siri was last activated at 8:53 p.m. and the screen went off and came back on several times over the next few minutes. The camera was also briefly used. Okay. Alex's SUV engine was started around 9:06 p.m., but his phone didn't connect to the car via Bluetooth at that time. So he is leaving around that time. It was also mentioned how the last orientation change of the phone screen and screen activation on Maggie's phone was recorded about 30 seconds before Alex's engine started at 9:06. None after that until it was found the next day in the woods. Alex's phone was recording steps at the time, indicating that his phone was not in the vehicle. Maggie's phone was not recording steps. Dove said it appears the two phones were not together at 9:06 because they were not recording steps at the same time. At one point, see, this is weird. Dove said that some GPS data from Maggie's phone could have been lost in the 8 days it took for the data to be extracted after the murders. Okay, and the second witness was this guy. Now, this guy had been called as an expert witness for Alex in a trial that Alex had. So Alex knew this guy knew Alex. Alex knew this guy by name. And they made a point of that. This is Dathan Varnado, and he's a sergeant with the Colton County Sheriff's Office. He responded to the scene the night of the murders, June 7th. He was instructed to take gunshot residue test of Alex's hands, a GSR test. And so he said he had been to the Murdaugh house before. He had an alarm call. He knew Alex from having testified as the expert witness. And when Alex was the lead prosecutor, he took the GSR kit, and he said it took a few minutes. He, swabbed his hands. He didn't notice his hands shaking. He didn't say anything eventful happened, and it was done. They asked him what kind of expert witness was he, and he explained that it was for a gang, a notorious street gang tied to drugs and violence, and it was about explaining, what does it mean when somebody says you got to go get the whistle? Well, the whistle means a gun. So he was analyzing a phone call from the jail. And so he testified that a whistle meant a gun, and it was in this gang case. He did not personally test the gunshot residue sample he got from Murdaugh, but he says he doesn't know what the results were. He's aware that the residue can transfer from the surface of a gun to the hands of someone who touches it, and they don't necessarily have to fire the gun to get gunshot residue on their hands. He said that he is now aware that Murdaugh brought a gun to the scene the night of the murders, allegedly after finding the bodies, and he was fearing that a perpetrator was on the scene. And then the third witness was Rogan Gibson. This guy was up and down pretty quick, but this guy, okay. This is a close friend of Paul Murdaugh. He's the one that said the Murdaughs are like a second family to him. He knows all of them, including the grandparents and everything, and the uncles. When asked about hunting and the guns they used, Gibson said they used the .300 Blackout rifles with a thermal scope to shoot the wild hogs at night. He remembered using Buster's black one, and he remembered that Paul's tan one was stolen out of his truck at a party. He said Paul often used a Benelli Super Black Eagle 12-gauge shotgun, and then Creighton Waters for the prosecution showed Rogan the photo of the shotgun on the pool table in the house at Moselle, and he said, yes, that's Paul's shotgun. He brought the shotgun out that's in the box, and he identified it again as Paul's shotgun. He said Paul spent a lot of time on his phone, and he explained about his dog, Cash, the chocolate lab that he kept at the Murdaughs. And the reason he was keeping the dog at the Murdaughs is because he was staying with his girlfriend, and he only kept the dog there sometimes when he would go to his girlfriend's because his girlfriend couldn't have a dog at her apartment. So it would be okay if he left the dog at the Murdaughs, and he would bring food and he would stay for a week at a time when he was working away. So that's what he did there. And then he talked about the night of the murders, that he talked to Paul around lunchtime, and they talked about planting the sunflowers, and they talked about, okay, all the sunflowers died. Yeah, why? Roundup. Somebody sprayed them with Roundup. So, yeah, they had to plant them in the dove field, and they talked again at 8:40, and at that point, something seemed wrong with Cash's tail, the Labrador. And Rogan said he thought he heard Alex in the background with Paul at that time. He told the police and confirmed it in court that he was 99% sure he heard Alex's voice. Later in the week after the murders, Rogan said he spent a lot of time at Moselle with the family, Maggie's grandmother, he calls Grandma. She asked him about what happened that night, and he said he talked to Paul on the phone and that he heard Maggie in the background, and a male voice in the background he thought was Alex. Alex was in the room and didn't object at the time. Paul tried to FaceTime with Rogan, but there was bad internet service, so it was lagging and he couldn't tell what was going on with the dog's tail. Because of it, Paul said he would take a video and text it to him, but he never did. And that's why Rogan was texting Paul at 8:49 p.m. saying, see if you can get a good picture of it. Marianne, that's the girlfriend, wants to send it to a girl we know that's a vet. Tell him to sit and stay, and he shouldn't move around too much. Rogan said he tried to call Paul at 9:10, 9:29, 9:42, and 9:57 and 10:08, but got no response. He sent Paul a text at 9:58 that was yo. That went unread. He also texted Maggie at 9:34 and asked her to tell Paul to call him, but that was unread and got no answer, so he went to bed around 10 p.m. He got calls from Alex at 10:21 p.m., 10:24 p.m., 10:25 p.m., and 10:30 p.m., but he didn't hear them because he was sleeping. The next morning he got another call. He had another call from a mutual friend. Oh, no, I'm sorry. He called Nolan. No, Yeah, it was Alex that had called all those times, and I guess instead of calling Alex, he called Nolan and found out what happened. Then, after hearing what happened, he drove right out to the Moselle property. He picked up his dog without talking to anybody. And then he said he went down the road and met with the game warden, who said that SLED would want to meet with him. He met with the SLED agents, Jeff Croft and Katie McAllister. They took photos of his calls and his text history. In November of 2022, Gibson was shown that video that we just showed you here, the Snapchat. He said, yes, I hear Paul, Maggie, and Alex's voices on the video. And Creighton Walters said, do you hear the voices of your second family on that video? Gibson said, I did. He's 100% sure that he heard Alex's voice in the video. He said Paul and Maggie's voices sounded normal when he heard them, not stressed or anything. They played that video in the court. And again, Gibson said 100%. That's Alex's voice. Alex started to cry in the courtroom at this time. Yeah, he was. He was crying. Jim Griffin from the defense cross-examined Gibson. And Gibson said Paul was his best friend, and learning of his murder was a hard day for him. He told the court that they loved hunting and fishing together, and Paul loved the Moselle property. It was his passion. Gibson felt Paul was like a brother, felt Maggie was a second mother, and Alex was like a father. He said that he was around Alex quite a bit after the murders, and he said Alex was emotional, very upset. They hugged. Alex cried. He remembers before the murders, he says he noticed no signs of distress or anxiety among the Murdaugh family. He said Alex was openly affectionate, and Gibson can't imagine Alex murdering his wife and son the way that's been described. Griffin asked Gibson about the boat crash and the death of Mallory Beach. He said Paul got some threats afterwards, but nothing that Rogan took seriously. He agreed that some people would mouth off to him at bars and stuff or comment on social media. Then they went over all of the vehicles on the Moselle property. The older white F-150, they called it White Boy. The newer white F-250, they called it Dolly. The older black F-150 was Buster's old truck. Paul would usually have a gun in whatever truck he was riding around in, Gibson said. Most of the vehicles and their structures were not locked. Gibson said that Paul was always on his phone and it wasn't usual for him to let the battery get low. He said you could get from the Murdaugh's main house to the kennels pretty fast, under a minute if driving fast. And when Creighton Waters was questioning him, he said, "How long have you known Alex Murdaugh?" Gibson said, "Pretty much all my life." Waters said, "But as you sit here today, did you really know him?" Harpootlian objects. The judge overrules it. And Waters says, "As you sit here today, did you really know him?" He says, "Yes, I know Mr. Alex." At the very end of the Griffin's questioning, he asked Gibson if he can think of any reason Alex would kill his wife and son. And he said, "Not that I can think of." And then we have Will Loving was the next witness. Loving was a close friend of Paul's. They got to know each other through vacationing on Edisto Beach, and they became close friends later in life. They did a lot of hunting and fishing. He recalled about the missing tan .300 blackout rifle. He remembered that it was replaced by the Murdaughs at some point. He recalled that in April of 2021, he was going with Paul to buy a red dot sight for the replacement blackout AR-15, and later sighting in the rifle directly beside the Moselle house outside the gunroom door and stairs. A pond was being dug on the property down near the dove field, and a large dirt pile was there that they used as a backstop for the bullets. That could explain the 300 blackout shell casings that were found outside the door by sled agents. You remember that when we saw that in the body cam video? He testified that a 300 blackout rifle would be a bit louder than a shotgun. He said Paul talked with him about not wanting to put a suppressor on the rifle because it would diminish its effective range and accuracy. When they went hunting together, Loving said Paul did most of the shooting. And Loving said to his knowledge, the Murdaughs didn't usually keep firearms down at the kennels in the shed area. He said Paul was on his phone a lot, usually a fast responder to texts. He also talked about his relationship and experiences with Maggie, saying she was a dog lover. She liked to go down to the kennels and let the dogs run around. Loving said that it isn't unusual for Paul to leave things everywhere, but it wasn't typical for him or the Murdaughs to leave guns at the kennels or shed area. He'd see them down there sometimes. Loving said he never saw the tan replacement 300 blackout rifle again, and he and Paul bought that red dot sight and sighted it on March 6th of 2021. The last time that he saw Paul was Memorial Day weekend in 2021. He and 3 or 4 other friends stayed at the Murdaugh's beach house in Edisto. And then there was a video that was played to the court because it was Alex's birthday, because remember his birthday is at the end of May. It's May 27th, I believe. So they were singing happy birthday to Alex. Then again, the state played that final Snapchat video to Will Loving. And on June 7th, and then he said 100% that's Alex. The night of the murders, Loving said he was woken up around midnight to a phone call from one of Paul's cousins telling him what happened. After the call, he drove to Charleston to be with friends. Later, he said that when he got the call, he became fearful for his own safety and he left his apartment in a hurry. That fear eventually turned into worry about Alex and the family, and he said it was all a shock. He said he was aware of Paul's boat crash and he knew there was a lawsuit. He also said Paul talked to him about the Murdaughs selling their Hampton property, and Loving said he heard it through the grapevine it was sold because of some of the lawsuits they were under. Loving also was played that dog kennel video Loving was seen smiling and chuckling while he watched it. He said he was 100% confident the three voices in the video were Paul, Maggie, and Alex. When asked about Alex's relationship with Paul, Loving said it seemed like Paul was the apple of his eye. I think it's funny how they all say this same little phrase. Because that's what the defense said, everything but the apple of his eye. He also said Alex and Maggie seemed to have a happy relationship. He was asked to describe the scene at the Murdaugh's Moselle home in the week after the murders. Loving said it was an emotional scene and Alex could barely get words out. Alex is seen crying in the courtroom again during the testimony. Loving's testimony ended after a bunch of financial related questions that the state asked. Answering the question one by one in quick succession, Loving said he didn't know anything about Alex's finances, nothing about his law practice, how he spent his money, his debts, or anything else. He didn't know specific updates about the boat crash or how he was confronted on the morning of June 7th about his finances. The defense objections to this line of questioning was overruled, and then court adjourned. And the judge said he would address the issues in the morning. So let's see. It ended with Creighton Waters saying, "You were asked about the relationship you observed between Paul and Maggie and Alex. Is that correct?" Will Loving says, "That is correct." Waters said, "To your eye, it was a very good relationship. Is that correct?" Loving said, "Yes, sir. It was a good relationship in my point of view." Waters said, "Did you know anything about Alex's finances?" Loving said, "No, I did not." Waters said, "Did you know anything about his law practice?" Loving said, "No, I did not." Waters said, "Did you know anything about where he gets his money?" Loving said, "No, I did not." Waters said, "Did you know anything about where he was spending his money?" And Loving's answer is, "No, I did not." Waters said, "Did you know anything about what his bank account balances were?" Loving said, "No, sir, I did not." Waters said, "Did you know anything about the debt he was carrying? Did you know anything about that?" Loving says, "No, sir." Waters said, "Did you know the specific things that were going on in the boat case that week that Paul and Maggie were murdered?" Loving says, "No, sir." Waters says, "Did you know anything about civil discovery and how it can expose financial information?" Loving said, "No, sir." Waters said, "Did you know anything at all about him being confronted on June 7th, 2021 about," and then Jim Griffin was like, "Your Honor, I'm going to object." The judge says, "Finish the questions." Waters said, "Did you know anything about him being confronted on the morning of June 7th, 2021 about $792,000 missing fees from his law firm?" And then Griffin is, "Objection, Your Honor, totally improper." Objection overruled by the judge. Waters said, "Did you know anything about that?" Loving says, "No, I did not." Waters said, "Do you know any of those facts or those things that I just asked you about?" Loving says, "No, sir." Then court was adjourned, and the judge said he would handle that stuff in the morning. So that's we're also going to have a small little, let me see here, update on Brian Kohlberger in a minute, but let's finish this right now. Okay, I'm going to go back to the chat. Oh, where's my chat? Okay, here we are. So what does everybody think about? Let's do the guilt. Let's do the poll. Okay, I'm trying to think. Okay. We'll see if it changes big time this time. Okay, there's the poll. So let me look at any of your questions or comments or... Hello, Corinne D. How are you? Corinne D., you seem to come here with a lot of hostility. I've already explained to you, right? I've already explained everything to you, but you're back here with a lot of hostility. I worry about your blood pressure and everything, and you really shouldn't watch something that makes you so upset. If you don't like the way that I do things, there's other channels you can watch. You know, I hate to see you here and be always perturbed about something, perturbed and disturbed about something. Life's too short to walk around perturbed and disturbed. You got to do you. Okay. You know what? I think, hey, let me do something for you. Would you like me? You would like me to send you my trial notes? Would you like me to send? I have notebooks full of them. Would you like me to send them to you? Because all I do, right? All I do is read a transcript. Okay. All right, hun. Because you're in here saying things that I've already explained to you. And I've got notebooks full of what I'm doing, and I sit there and I watch the trial, and then you say to me that I'm doing something, and why am I doing it that way? That's the way I cover trials. I'm sorry if that's not to your liking, and sorry if you want to say what I'm doing. Hey, Jeff. Hi, little lady. That's why I run out of notebooks, Corrigan. And who was the one that loved when I took... Oh, I forget what his name was. He used to like it when I used to take it on... I used to type it out on Word. I felt like I was the court reporter. But you know the court reporters in South Carolina, remember the Jones trial? They speak in that little thing. It's so crazy. And I remember Scooter said... During the Jones trial, she's like, Carolyn, you would never use that thing because they have to share that or something. I'm like, I don't think they have to share that. But they literally have it up against their mouth and they just repeat. I would hate to be a court reporter. Because, oh my gosh. Thank you, True Crime Girl. I think that person is saying you're reading the YouTube transcripts. But I'm not reading the YouTube transcripts. Okay. Corinne, would you like to call in and discuss the trial with me? Call in and we'll discuss. Let's discuss. I'd love to discuss it with you. Call in. Hi, Deidre. Thank you, Deidre. Good to see you. I saw your dogs the other day. I showed them in the Zoom. They were on my Instagram playing like mine play. And I'm like, she has killer dogs like me. I left you a message on Instagram. So let's see what the poll is here. Now look at that. Today changed the poll. Look at that. Today, okay, we're not finished with it, but 89% say he's guilty. Do you remember yesterday it was like 70 or something? And then there were like, wasn't it like
66, I think.
Is that what it was? And there was more on the hung jury. And there was more on the not guilty.
I guess it wasn't a good day in court for Alex.
No, because it puts him at the scene of the crime. His phone log is deleted. And then it doesn't look good, right? What is the other damning evidence? But that putting him at the scene of the crime at the time that it happened, I mean, he's right there. There's 5 minutes.
Yeah, how's he going to talk himself out of that?
I don't know. I think they were trying to say, I think he was trying very hard to say, or to try to get them to say that that video could have been recorded at a different time. And maybe it just uploaded there. You know what I mean? Because they're probably going to say, because the internet was bad, he might have taken that video and it up, but no, it's in the phone. He doesn't understand there's a phone log connected to that. I responded to your message. Oh, they make the same noise as I've heard. Yes, I know, and it sounds to people like, oh my gosh, they're killing each other. No, they're not. They're playing. Are yours, did you get yours at the same time? Are they litter mates, or what are they? Are they the same age? Are they still puppies? I don't remember who it was. If I am here, they can let me know. If I am here and they are here, can you let me know, please? What, True Crime Girl? The purpose of the steno mask is to allow a person to speak without being heard by other people and to keep the... Right, I know, to keep it away. But most court reporters don't speak in any microphone. They just use the little machine there. Their brother and sister. Oh, and will be 2 in March. Wow. Okay, 2 in March. All right. 2 in March.
The
Oh, I had a
video is
cleaning-
damning. The video is incredibly damning for him.
Oh, we have a cleaning expert on, True Crime Girl. Sharon is a cleaning expert. What's your question?
Sure.
Sharon had a cleaning business.
She did.
What's your question? And I'm pretty good too. A lot of us are pretty good. Danielle is really good too. What's your question?
I'm not good. Don't ask me.
Tell us your question, True
Mover
Crime
has a
Girl. We'd be more
question.
than willing to help you. You got here late. Is that video out that shows him wearing different clothes on the day when he was out with his son driving around looking at the trees? I'm not sure yet, Snow. I've been doing the auction all day. I mean, all evening after I got that other one up, but I will check my messages. They're super fun to have around.
What do you want to know?
Yeah, I'm asking her. What do you want to know? Tell her.
I'm not an expert per se, but
Wow.
go ahead. I have discovered things. I don't know how to get grape juice out of carpet. I can do it.
Oh, great. I am moving to a new place that has laminate wood flooring. Never had that before. What do I need to do to keep it clean? I heard that if I use a regular amount. Okay, well, I will tell you
I know.
something.
Pergo and water. I mean, for Pergo, just a little bit of vinegar and water. That's it.
Okay.
That's all.
All right, but you have to be careful because you don't know what kind of laminate it is. And if you get it wet and it gets through there's different grades and different kinds. I don't know what kind you have. Some of it is very water resistant and it's not, some of it is not. And if you'll notice that it'll bubble up if you get water on it. It'll seep under there and then you'll have bubbles in it. So you've got to be very careful what you use to clean it. Sometimes they tell you can use the steam mop. I don't have laminate anymore, but when I did use a steam mop on mine. But they do make cleaners, and they make I believe they make one of the Bona. I think they have a Bona for that. Hey, John Wasaki, I hope you got good news. So look at this, 92% think he's guilty now. That really sunk him today.
Not something.
And
Big
Hey,
change.
John.
Huge change. Huge change. Never anything that saturates the floor or anything like that.
No. I would test a product like
Try to find
out
out
of
who the
the area.
manufacturer is, and then go look on their website for their care instructions, because they're all different. And if it's a cheaper kind, and it's, oh boy, you can have big problems.
like real Pergo clean really well, but you don't know. You could have like 2 millimeters or a lot less than that of.
You had a heck of a time keeping your glass stovetop clean. You hate it. Do you have the kit with the scraper and
I
stuff?
hate 'em
No,
too.
but did you use the pink stuff?
Snow, if you get stuff on your stovetop, I used to use soft scrub, but you got to wipe it clean so don't
The
smear
pink
it
stuff
everywhere.
works
Just
good
use
on
a
glass
little
tops.
bit. Yeah.
I've seen it work really good on glass tops, and
Yeah.
also that scraper, like it's like a razor thing you can get in a
Yeah, it
kit.
is.
It's called this Cerama Bright.
I use a razor blade.
Yeah, yeah, they sell it in a
yeah.
kit. They sell it in a blue thing. I used to use it on mine,
Oh, I
and
didn't
we
know that.
have one at the lake house. Yeah,
Oh, yeah. I used to
it's
do
an
that,
apartment,
too.
granted a nice one, so it's probably cheap stuff. I would see if you
It
could find
probably
out the manufacturer and look on their website too.
They'll never tell her who made that floor. Who's going to tell her? There's no way of finding out who made it. You know how many manufacturers there are out there?
Yeah, but they might know if somebody's in the office and it's recently done or something.
Maybe.
Let's see. Yeah, they're not waterproof at all. That's exactly right, Deirdre. Yeah.
Not.
The newer stuff, they have something else. It's not like laminate. It's like a vinyl plank or something.
Mm-hmm.
Because my son put that in his weight room and stuff, and
I put that in my bathroom. It's vinyl plank.
yeah, it's different. It's different than the laminate.
Yeah, it's completely different. It's
Mhm.
it's almost like linoleum in a way. Nothing will go through it. So.
It's called Allure, I think.
Mm.
You've been. Oh, what happened in that trial? Did they have the?
Yeah, he's guilty.
Oh, he's guilty. He
You
got
can
guilty.
use the erasers. What's this called? The Mr. Clean eraser on those
Magic
glass
eraser.
tops. Yeah. Those things are a pain. But after you're done doing that, spray it with I don't use Windex. What's the name of the stuff? Oh man.
Bon
But
Ami.
Windex works just fine.
The foam stuff, Sharon?
No, just Windex. When you're done cleaning, just use Windex on it. Wipe it.
Yeah, I
Windex.
don't know. I wouldn't do that,
Paper
True Crime
towel.
Girl. And vinegar, you have to be careful with vinegar, because they even tell you when you have tile, you're not supposed to keep mopping with vinegar. Vinegar's an acid, and it will eat away at your grout and stuff. So it's only supposed to be used like certain times, not go into town with it every single time you mop your floor. It is an acid.
If you have like grout lines that are wider, maybe quarter inch, you know what I do? I used to take scrubbing bubbles, and spray it on the lines, just on the lines. Pain in the neck, but they'd look like new when I was done. Then you gotta wipe it all up, and then you gotta rinse it. So.
Yep, that works too, Deborah. Microfiber mop.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh,
They
yeah,
make
it's
one
what I
that's
use.
for laminate. I believe there's Bona, Bona, makes one for laminate.
A cleaner?
No, a whole mopping system, like it's a mop.
Oh, a mop.
And
Yeah,
it has
yeah.
a cleaner. It is a mop and a cleaner. It's like,
Yeah. If you keep at it, a Swiffer will do the trick.
go to Home Depot
It really
and
will.
they'll have a lot of products to care for your laminate floors there. Right, I know that has no grout. Yeah, no, I was just saying in general, Julianne, I know it
Yeah.
doesn't have grout.
Don't use Fantastic. That's my. Don't. Period.
Yeah.
For anything. Throw it out.
It made me almost die when I was a kid. I still remember I was cleaning something in the garage at Barbie Pool.
Swiffers are
And I
great,
started to
Rose.
cough and cough and
If you-
cough. I thought I
if
was
you
going
keep
to die.
Up with it. You just Swiffer it. That's all you got to do. There's no reason to get down on your hands and knees every 2 weeks.
You know
Wash your
someone who
floors
uses
like I
Bona
used
on their
to.
laminate floor? That is the cleaner. Yeah, I think that is recommended. I think that's going to be the one. Bona.
Might be. I've used Murphy's oil, so I've used all kinds of things.
Yeah, I put a drop of that in when I do my wood floor.
Yeah. Because you have to have a surfactant of some description. You can't just use water.
Mm-hmm.
So a little bit of a surfactant makes the
That's
dirt
great, high-speed
come
drifter.
up and go away.
Guilty verdict. Yes, I started to get nervous when they started to read it. No, I knew you knew that, Mommy Rowling, somebody else. Oh, okay. Julianne. I have this thing for grout. They gave me, sent them to me for me to review on my blog, and it's called the Grout Gator or something, and it's like this broom, and it's got these little brushes, and you can space them out to the exact spacing of your grout.
Yeah.
It's like this, so that you can scrub your.
Really?
Yeah, it's called the Grout Gator.
Grout gator?
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting. I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I use Murphy's oil soap on my
I can't use anything like that on my cabinets.
No?
Not allowed.
Because they're painted?
It's got a 10 process finish and a glaze, and not supposed to use anything but a soft cloth and water.
Oh.
And if I have to clean anything off, just a very small amount of a non-abrasive soap, but very little.
Yeah, there's nothing quite like a couple drops of, I don't know. What's it called? Dish soap.
Yeah, that's
In
all
your
that's
water
all I
and
use.
have
on it.
at it. Yep.
That's all I use. Just a little bit if I need that. Yeah, and I try to get it mostly with water and then just buff it. And
I have Jubilee.
oh gosh, Jubilee. Yeah, my mother used to use that
I
on
do.
Formica,
I
right?
have
Jubilee.
Yeah. We didn't clean the kitchen. We Jubileed the kitchen. We were told to Jubilee the kitchen. Yeah, okay. Oh, God, that liquid gold. My mother would make us use liquid gold on the
Yeah,
cabinets.
liquid gold. That was like magic. That
on
stuff.
the
Remember?
paneling, and we didn't have like that cheap, crappy paneling.
Right.
We had really nice. Yeah, we had to do that. Do you think she ever did it? Oh, absolutely not.
I used to love to use the liquid gold because it was like magic.
It is.
I remember, yeah, I
It
loved
is.
to use
But
that
I
as a
mean,
kid.
come on. Who wants to? Yeah, but who wants to spend their whole day doing it?
No, nobody.
Okay. And then if you miss one spot, she'd walk in and go, "Oh, you didn't do that."
Oh,
So
really?
here you
Yeah, my mom wasn't like
Oh,
that.
yeah. That was encouraging. Really makes you want to, do anything around the house. While my brothers were out doing whatever they wanted.
Okay, so let's talk
Yeah,
about
Dawn.
Brian
Thank you,
Koberger. They
Elaine.
said
It's
something
Dawn.
about, let's see what they said. They said he was arrested with force. I don't know
Who
why
was
this is news,
arrested
because I
with
thought they already told us this, but apparently this is like new news.
He was arrested with what?
Okay, they just said that this is that he was arrested with force. So
Oh.
we did hear this. I thought we did, but apparently this is new news. Let's see how new it is. So it says Pennsylvania State Police confirmed they broke out several windows when they executed search warrants at the Koberger's home in Chestnutville, Pennsylvania. I don't know, this is not new news. Force was used. The warrants were issued for evening search warrants, which in Pennsylvania require additional probable cause in order to serve them at the hours of darkness, said Major Christopher Paris, the Area 3 commander of Pennsylvania State Police. From a tactile standpoint, based upon all the briefings that we had developed and all the intelligence we had developed, we thought that this was the best time to serve it. Working with the Monroe County, Pennsylvania District Attorney's Office, the Latah County Prosecutor's Office obtained 3 search warrants and a fugitive from justice warrant. Tactile assets were staged in the county, in Monroe County, into the evening of Thursday, December 29th, and in the hours of Friday, December 30th, those warrants were executed at the location. Koberger appeared the next day. We've just, okay, this is not new. I don't know why.
I was under the impression that he didn't resist arrest and that there was no
Well,
struggle.
I guess they're calling that's the force there. But there is something. What was I just going to say that was new? Hold on a minute. There was something new. Not about him, I don't think. It was about something else. Oh. Let me see here. Hold on. Pennsylvania. Oh my gosh. A Pennsylvania teen that arrested. A Pennsylvania teen who jumped into an icy pond to rescue 2 children who'd fallen in was shot and killed on Instagram live stream over the weekend. Did you guys know this?
No.
This is oh my gosh, on an Instagram. See, this is unfortunately, this is what I said. They're not going to do anything. They didn't do anything when Bianca Devins was shown on that Instagram after she was murdered. Now someone has to be murdered, and they probably still won't do anything for a while. Let's see.
Wow.
It says a Pennsylvania teen who jumped into an icy pond to rescue 2 young children who'd fallen in was shot and killed on Instagram in a live stream over the weekend. Anthony Alexander Jr. was 16 last year when he heard screams coming from a pond in Collingdale Park on February 21st. They really needed help. I wasn't going to sit there and let them drown like that, he said. 2 girls and a boy had fallen into the water. Alexander first tried to reach them with a stick, and then he jumped into the cold water and brought one of the girls and the boy out. Police officers arrived at the scene to jump in, and they got the other girl out. Alexander and the 2 officers were feted by Collingdale officials. The teens involved in the live stream shooting ran from the scene where Alexander was hit, but police tracked them down. Diamir Hickman, the 16-year-old who was handling the gun when he said it just went off while the teens were passing it around, turned himself in and was charged as an adult with third-degree murder. We now have a young man who, as you pointed out, was very heroic last year. He's now dead, and you have 2 families who are dealing with the tragedy. Why were these teenage children able to get their hands on these guns? Wow. And what about Instagram? They don't even mention it. Okay, what is this now? A retired veterinarian allegedly stalks and murders the husband of a woman he once romanced. What? Crazy stuff in the news. Let's see what this is.
Is romance the new word for adultery?
A retired Oregon veterinarian has been arrested and charged with the murder of a man whose wife he had an affair with years ago. Steve Milner, 55, is charged with second-degree murder, stalking, and violating a stalking order. The paper said that an autopsy ruled that 56-year-old Kenneth Fandrich died from blunt force trauma to his neck and that the manner of death was homicide. Fandrich's wife, Tanya, said that she and her husband had spent years trying to get Milner to stop harassing them. Milner was interjecting himself into our lives before this stalking order, before we had anybody listening to us. We rarely ever went anywhere alone. We always tried to stay together. She said her husband stopped returning calls Friday night and that she used Find My Phone to direct officers to him in a parking garage on the Intel campus where he worked. I never thought this would happen. Never. I thought he was just being an a-hole. Fandrich told police that his wife and Milner had an affair when she worked at his veterinarian clinic many years ago, even bailing her out of jail when she was arrested during a domestic dispute with her husband. But Tanya said they haven't had contact since. Kenneth Fandrich filed a lawsuit against Milner early last year, among other things accusing him of planting a GPS device on his car in March. Milner was following him to work. A police officer pulled Milner over at the time, warned him to stop, but the officer said Milner was not receptive to the warning. Fandrich got a stalking order a few weeks later, and Milner was arrested for violating it. He was released and ordered to have no contact with the Fandriches, with a trial that was set to start in March. Milner was arrested on Tuesday with court records saying he had been engaging in repeated and unwanted contact between December 13th and the day that Fandrich's body was found. Wow. Crazy. Oh, that guy killed himself. That guy that was going to be on the dating apps and stuff. They told everybody to watch out for him. He killed himself.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Oh
wow.
my gosh.
So let's see, you don't have to worry about the dating app on that one. The subject of an exhaustive manhunt in the mountains of southwestern Oregon died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound after an hours-long standoff with police Tuesday night. Benjamin Obadiah Foster had previously been convicted of torturing a girlfriend in Nevada. He was accused of holding another woman captive, torturing her last week. The woman, still hospitalized in critical condition, was found near death at a home in Grants Pass last Tuesday. Foster, 36, fled and apparently began using dating apps to solicit help to elude police. On Thursday, police raided a home in the remote Wolf Creek community and arrested 68-year-old Tina Marie Jones, charged her with hindering prosecution. They also seized Foster's vehicle, but he escaped. Oregon State Police said on Wednesday night they believe Foster is responsible for a double homicide in Sunny Valley, about 16 miles from Grants Pass. The victims were identified as Richard Lee Barron Jr. and Donald Owen Griffith, both who lived on the property. They died from blunt force trauma. State police said several items were missing from the home, including a dog, that a cab picked up Foster in the area Tuesday morning, took him back to the house in Grants Pass, where the attempted murder and kidnapping took place. By Tuesday night, police pinned Foster down beneath the house where the tortured woman was found. Police fired tear gas bullets into the house using a bullhorn to order him out. Hours later, police found Foster suffering from a single gunshot wound to the head, took him to the hospital where he died. In the previous incident, Foster was accused of torturing and assaulting a girlfriend. She eventually escaped after suffering broken ribs, black eyes, and being forced to drink lye. Wow. Foster reached a deal with Clark County prosecutors in 2021, pled guilty to 1 felony count of battery and 1 misdemeanor count of battery. He was sentenced to 2.5 years in prison, with the time he spent awaiting trial factoring into the time he actually spent. Wow. Okay, well, now he's on. Let's see. What else going on? A lot of Murdaugh stuff that we've already covered. They're missing I don't know if they found her, 73 years old. They're missing her. She has early onset Alzheimer's. Let's see. Silver alert was issued Wednesday for the missing woman. Let's see, 73-year-old Linda Kane, last seen Tuesday at 8:40 p.m. near Elliott Road and 51st Street in Phoenix. Let's see. She's described as a white female, 5'2", 100 pounds, white hair, hazel eyes, last seen wearing black pants and a gray zippered winter coat. Is it that cold in Phoenix to be wearing a winter coat? And purple shoes. She wears 3 rings on her left ring finger. She carries a black purse. Anyone with information should call the Sheriff's Office 602-876-1011. I hope they find her. Oh, and then Madalena. Let's see what they found on her.
Once the sun goes down, it gets cold
Really?
fast, like immediately.
A new photo of missing North Carolina girl Madalena Kojikari reportedly showed near an area her mother's car was spotted in November. 11-year-old Madalena was reported missing on December 15th, although her mother, Diana Kojikari, told police she hadn't seen her daughter since November 23rd. Okay, so numerous residents near a remote area in Madison County told investigators they spotted Kojikari's car in the area after the child disappeared. One woman told authorities that she drove by the car parked on the side of the road near Lonesome Mountain. The woman reportedly told police she remembered the vehicle after it later sped past her. Another person said they saw the vehicle on November 22nd in Weaverville, while another person said they saw the car at the Weaverville IHOP restaurant on November 25th. The latest photo shows Madalena at the summit of Mount Mitchell in Yancey County, which neighbors Madison County, near the area where Diana's car was spotted. According to the arrest affidavit, Diana Kojikari told detectives that she didn't immediately report Madalena missing because she was concerned that her husband, Christopher Palmeter, 60, would put her family in danger and that it might start a conflict with him. Okay, so they're both arrested. So I don't know, what does that mean? That she threw her somewhere off there? I don't know. Crazy. Florida high school teacher was arrested for keying a car in Publix. Okay. And then another woman stole $1.5 million in chicken wings from the Illinois school district. How do you steal $1.5 million in chicken wings? How long of a period is that?
What do you do with it?
The former food service director of a suburban Chicago school district has been charged with stealing more than $1.5 million in chicken wings. 19 months is all it took. Vera Liddell. Oh, wow, this is crazy, isn't it? I wonder where she was liquidating that stuff. She worked for the Harvey School District 152 for more than 10 years, and she was responsible for placing orders with the district's main food supplier, Gordon Food Services. Prosecutors say she placed the orders for chicken wings from July 2020 to February 2022, billing the district but keeping the food. According to court documents, the fraud began at the height of the pandemic when students were not allowed to be physically present in school. With children learning remotely, the district provided meals that their families could pick up at the district's 5 schools, where 80% of the students qualify as low income. The court records say that Little ordered more than 11,000 cases of wings and picked them up in a cargo van belonging to the school district. Prosecutors didn't say what became of the wings. The food was never brought to the school or provided to the students. An audit last year uncovered problems, learning the district's food service department exceeded its annual budget by $300,000 only halfway through the year. Then the business managed to uncover multiple invoices for chicken wings, which aren't something served to students because of the bones they contain. The interim school superintendent, Leila Bridges, said the district was fully cooperating in the investigation but couldn't comment otherwise because of an ongoing investigation. She was charged with theft and jailed on a $150,000 bond. How? What in the world would she have a food truck business on the side or something? It's crazy.
Maybe. Sold them to a restaurant?
I don't know.
You know, they have wings at some of these places. I don't know.
So crazy.
That's a lot of chicken wings.
Okay, let's see what else. Woman seeks out to figure out death. Okay. That's probably about that. Chicken wings. Chicken wings.
High Speed Drifter says she weighed 1,000 pounds when arrested.
That's a lot of chicken wings.
A lot of wings.
Mm.
Crazy. Entrepreneur gone wrong. I don't know. Imagine, yeah, she opened up, she probably had maybe a food truck with chicken wings. Yeah, maybe a true crime girl. It's nuts. It's nuts. Well, maybe if it was at the height of the pandemic, she had a door-to-door chicken wing service, right? She had a cargo van, after all. I don't know. Maybe she was even cooking and preparing everything in the school.
Well, that's a
Rich
thought.
said one lunch lady at a high school was busted. Selling edibles. I heard that at the cafeteria to high school students, like she wouldn't get caught.
Some people deserve what they get. Here.
That's
Idiots.
so many. I mean, it's gosh.
One-stop wings. Rough.
Boy.
Nuts. She had a wing addiction. Gosh. Hi, 61. Could make a funny movie. Yeah, maybe. I wonder what her defense is gonna be.
Oh yeah, the wing caper.
I was trying to
was
feed
beginning.
poor and the homeless with the pandemic. I was trying to do a good thing. I was gonna pay it back. You have a mental image of her selling chicken wings out of the trunk of her car. Can you imagine if, like, you know what would be really funny if you had a whole bunch of investigators talking over the case at this chicken wing place, and they found out that that was her family's while they're eating it, like how they ate the leg of lamb in the Alfred Hitchcock movie while they're trying to find out how this guy got murdered. Hello to Scooter. She kept the chicken industry in business. Demand was low. Did you watch the Murdaugh trial today, Scooter? I felt hungry. I don't know. As worse as the email. She's going to steal the milk. Good morning, Teresa. You've been listening but nodding in and out of sleep. You're fully awake now. That's good. Are you in the UK, Teresa? Or are you in the USA?
I think the UK.
That's what I thought. I watched the two friends of Paul's testify. Oh, that's all you watch, Scooter? Okay. I can't keep up with all of the Fucci. The Fucci trial is going to be starting soon, right? Anthony Fucci. Oh, you are in, okay, Great Britain. Gotcha. Cold as heck in the Rockies. Yeah, it's supposed to be cold here for a couple of days. Really bad cold, I think. Let me see when Andrew Fucci is starting, I believe.
Oh.
Let's see. See. Judge grants state's motion for a 6-member jury. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so there's no death penalty. Death penalty's off the table. So they don't need a 12-member jury. So let's see. It says that they're going to have a 6-member jury. Fucci is now 16. He's been at the Duval County Jail pending his trial because the jail in St. Johns County does not have a juvenile wing. The docket sounding was scheduled for February 1st and jury selection begins on February 6th. Wait a minute, this is starting right away, so we're going to have 2 going. So is that still on for jury selection, February 6th? So. Let's see. 15 hours. Okay, so the judge denied the defense's motion to delay I want to call him Andrew. Aiden Fucci's trial. Circuit Judge Lee Smith today denied a motion filed earlier in the day by the lawyer representing Aiden Fucci, the teen accused of killing Tristan Bailey, asking for a delay of his murder trial and saying she is appealing the judge's order for a 6-member jury to the 5th District Court of Appeal. The motion on continuance of the jury trial was filed Wednesday morning, just hours prior to what was set to be Fucci's final court hearing before the trial, which was scheduled to begin on Monday. It centers around the judge's decision last month to grant the state's motion for a 6-member jury and reject Fucci's defense's attorney's motion for a 12-member jury. So like I said, see here. Smith said there's no harm to Fucci by going to trial next week. The judge said that he wants proposed jury instructions submitted by 5 p.m. Friday, and the jury selection is set to begin on Monday. Fucci, now 16, is charged with the first-degree murder and death of Bailey, a 13-year-old schoolmate. She was found stabbed to death on Mother's Day, 2021. Okay. Less than half of a mile from Fucci's home in the neighborhood where Bailey also lived. Fucci was arrested in the early morning hours the next day. Fucci is being tried as an adult. Even though he was 14 at the time of his arrest, if convicted, he could spend the rest of his life in prison. As a juvenile when the offense occurred, he is not eligible for the death penalty. He's been in the Duval County Jail because St. John's doesn't have a juvenile ward. Okay, so yeah, that's due to start next Monday.
Scooter has a comment
Monday,
she wanted me to read.
Monday. What does Scooter want?
She has a comment that Megan Faramusco. Do you know who that is? I saw a pic of her pop up in my feed, and man, she's been liking that jailhouse food.
Wait, what did you say? She's coming up too now? They always do everything at the same time. It's like nothing. It's feast or famine. What does it mean if someone's name is in red? True crime. What do you mean in red? Do you mean in blue or green? In red.
Oh, when you're tagged, maybe?
Oh, did someone tag you? It's orange? Is that what you're seeing? Megan Fioramusco. Okay, but is she coming up for anything?
She doesn't say.
Let me see. Scooter, make sure you check the vacation group for the synchronized dance routine. Okay, let me go over here.
Oh, yes. Very important.
Celebrate good times. We're going to have a Shalini Chan.
And it's 5, 6, 7, 8.
And twirl. And twirl.
Okay, so that's May 12th, it says? No. No, she didn't have anything. What does she have coming up? Okay, January 24th. On January 31st, they expected her to be pleading guilty. Okay, what happened to her? Now, let's see. Woman accused of kidnapping, killing Austin mother in 2019 to take a plea deal. She's taken a plea deal. The plea is conditioned on Megan Fioramusco receiving a sentence of 55 years and waiving her right to appeal. On January 31st, the district attorney's office expects Megan Fioramusco to plead guilty to the murder of Heidi Broussard. The plea is conditioned on Ms. Fioramusco receiving a sentence of 55 years and waiving her right to appeal, meaning that the defense will not be able to litigate decisions made by the court during pretrial litigation. We hope that this outcome brings some closure and allows the Broussard and Carey families to continue their healing process. Our hearts continue to break for them and their immeasurable loss. The defense and the prosecution have come to a negotiated agreement, and we expect the sentence of 55 years in prison from this court this coming Tuesday, January 31st. Okay, so did she take the plea deal? Let's see. Plea agreement reached, it says. Well, on January 31st, the district, that they said that they expect her. Okay, let's see. I don't know. Let me go to this person. Twitter. New Travis County prosecutors and attorney confirmed that they have reached an agreement, but I don't know. It said she was supposed to do it today. Texts. The mother of Heidi Broussard is speaking out about her daughter's murder, revealing in a new interview that the woman accused of killing Broussard and then stealing her newborn baby texted her to check in about the case before her daughter's body was found. Broussard, now 33, Broussard is not, she was 33, and her infant daughter, Margot Carey, disappeared. Broussard was last seen dropping off her son at school that morning. Her body was later found in the trunk of a car belonging to Megan Fioramusco. a 33-year-old woman at the time who was friends with Broussard. But that she texted her before the daughter was found, but I don't see where did she accept it. Let's see. Usually they have a sentencing. When's her sentencing? It's weird. Well, I guess she's gonna. I guess because she could have had the death penalty on there, so she's just gonna take the guilty plea. Maybe tomorrow we'll hear what happened. Okay. $8? You're buying running shoes for $8? Oh boy. There's a lot of people that have bought stuff on Temu. High Speed Drifter. Uh-oh, somebody's music is playing. I guess it's all, I keep going to place an order and then I never check out. It's like the Hotel California. I just keep putting stuff in the cart and I never check out with it. And then I go put stuff in and I never check out with it. But I've seen people order craft stuff and do hauls, and it reminds me of Holler, even because they use the big orange bags. Remember Holler used the big orange boxes that said Holler on them? But Holler got a lot of closeouts. They got a lot of good like Hallmark stuff. I mean, stuff that was way expensive. And $1 used to be good too for, like, oh my gosh, I think I have enough razors to last a lifetime. And I'm talking about the Venus ones that were crazy. But both of those have closed down. And I kind of think Temu is like a Holler, except it's not getting any name brands. So it's more like a Wish, but then better than a Wish. But some people call it like as Alibaba or AliExpress, but not shipping from out of the country. I don't know. I don't know how it compares to Shein, because like Shein is another cheap company that people order a lot of stuff from. So I don't know. But I've seen craft stuff on there that people have purchased. And they seem to like it. I don't know. But it doesn't have name brand stuff the way Holler did. I used to know a lot of people with the Holler hauls. I wonder if they're doing Temu hauls now. I should look up their names. Oh, okay. Do that, High Speed Drifter. Please do. Let us know what you get and how it stacks up. Is Wish a scam? Wish, yeah, I don't think did I ever order anything from Wish? I just know I've heard people, it takes a long time, and it's not always what they say it is. And then
it's really junky.
Yeah, junky, and I didn't like, they would be like, oh, it's free shipping or this, and then you would always get to the checkout. Something would be completely different. I don't think I ever ordered from there because I couldn't take it. And, yeah. But I've known people that do. I've seen them on TV. You had some people are going nuts. Oh, Peace on Earth sounds really good right now. Yeah, right. High 61 does, yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. February. Is February 28 or 29 days this year?
28.
28?
Yeah.
28.
Mm-hmm. Oh, what happened to the groundhog?
It's
Oh, we don't know yet.
Doesn't come up
Well,
morning.
yeah.
Early in the
Oh, we
morning.
don't know yet. I was thinking it was February 2nd because I thought Linda said it was the 2nd. I was freaking
Well,
out.
yeah,
It's
it is
Groundhog
now.
Day.
Go to bed. Yeah, he better do the right thing.
Do you think he'll see his shadow or he won't see his
My
shadow?
son's
Probably get
birthday.
out on him if
Remember
he
when
does.
that guy dropped Puxatani Phil and killed him? That was horrible.
What about Wharton Willie?
We
Poor
Wharton Willie, yeah.
What happened?
Yeah.
What happened to
Passed away.
them?
Wharton Willie.
Yeah.
Did he die?
No, but what it was,
Wharton Willie is the Canadian.
who was it that dropped, it was Dink, who dropped Puxatani Phil?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't know someone
Let me
dropped
see.
him.
Somebody dropped the
Terrible.
groundhog and the groundhog died. Which I'm so
Aw.
surprised this groundhog died because it wasn't a big fall and they're pretty hardy guys. But he dropped
Didn't
him.
Wharton Willie die, Sharon?
Wharton Willie died.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
That's why you didn't see his shadow. He didn't come out.
No, he
Yes.
doesn't come up.
In 20, yes. Oh, it was de Blasio in New York that dropped the, it was, no, it wasn't Puxatani Phil. It was Staten Island Stan. Staten Island Chuck. Oh, it's not funny, guys. It's sad. Come on.
The name is funny.
I know, but
That
Mayor
sounds
de Blasio dropped him and killed him.
Oh,
It
no.
was a groundhog homicide.
Oh, boy.
It was
They ever
really
go to
sad
trial?
because he didn't think that people were like, oh, he's okay. And then he later died.
Oh, that's just terrible.
Yes. The
Yes.
Staten Island Zoo is home to a wide array of creatures far and wide, yet each year it hosts a tradition that is close to home, Groundhog Day. However, back in 2014, Mayor Bill de Blasio dropped the groundhog, leaving a lasting effect for years to come. Groundhog Day of 2014 would begin like any other, with everyone huddled around to stay warm to find out if there's 6 more weeks of winter, and they crowd around in hopes of catching a glimpse of Staten Island Chuck. However, unbeknownst to many, Chuck would have a stand-in take his place. Charlotte. Oh. I didn't even know that it was Charlotte that died. A 10-month-old groundhog would fulfill the role, predicting the future forecast of the season. Guests at the Staten Island Zoo watched as the woodchuck's handler, he's a woodchuck, not a groundhog,
What?
hoisted the marmot and carefully placed the animal in de Blasio's gloved arms. After about 5 seconds, the groundhog would squirm, and it caused de Blasio to flinch and drop Charlotte. The crowd would initially laugh the mishap off, but when Charlotte died a few days later, all eyes turned to de Blasio.
Oh, boy.
The zoo released a statement saying that it appeared unlikely that the groundhog's death was related. Oh, it's unlikely that, okay. Still, many were skeptical and blamed the mayor for Charlotte's untimely demise. Wow. He killed a groundhog when he dropped it. Following the incident, Staten Island Zoo implemented new changes to the annual celebration. Chuck would no longer be handled by any guest and would only be picked up by a professional handler themselves. Additionally, Chuck would remain inside of a clear plastic enclosure throughout the event. Chuck would be spared from Charlotte's fate, as he would be lifted into the air in the enclosure by the newly implemented rising platform, the Chuckavator, as opposed to the slippery hands of a mayor. Wow. I wonder if Staten Island Chuck is still alive. Let me see. That's a long time.
Staten Island
Stan.
Stan.
Island Chuck still alive? Let's see. Chuck was replaced secretly by his granddaughter Charlotte. That was that time. That was his granddaughter. That was Chuck's granddaughter. Well, what happened? Where is he now?
Ah.
I don't know. I don't know if he's alive or he's not alive.
Yeah, terrible.
He has his own Facebook page, though, Staten Island Truck, so he has to be alive.
Yeah, well, let me see what's up with Ward and Willie.
I don't see Chuck anywhere. Okay, so we don't know. We just don't know.
We'll see if my son sees his shadow. It's his birthday.
Is it? Oh,
Your son was born on Groundhog Day?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
It's Tina's birthday, too.
Happy birthday. Oh, happy birthday to Tina, too. Groundhog Day.
well, it's Ward and Willie's. They even have a monument to him. Believe it? But
Mr. Facilitation, I was looking forward to a new story today. You've disappointed me. Just saying.
Ward and Willie died in 1999. That's so sad.
I liked our semi-secret messages. Hi, Linda. Hoban. Hiya, Heartmaid Rise. Around here, if I stick my head out from it, it's going to be like really cold though tomorrow. Like, I mean, unseasonably cold tomorrow. Jimmy said it's going to be a snap for 2 weeks, and he goes, no, for 2 days. We're really lucky because we used to have bone chilling, below zero wind chills and everything like through January, February, like that time. And somebody came who made me nameless. Where is Video Reel? I don't know. Where Video Reel? Where are you?
Yeah, he's hanging around somewhere,
They're
I'm sure.
hanging around somewhere. He's probably working on a job or something. Computer or something. He stays up for like 3 days completely, and I think then he crashes for 3 and then stays up for 3. I think that's how it works with him.
Yeah.
Because when he's up like throughout the day. Like you never see him go like, I'm gonna go to sleep for a little bit. But I'm going to kick off early because we've got another day of the trial, and that's hard work, even though Corinne is just thinking I don't watch the trial. But anyway, I appreciate you all coming and listening, and I'll see you tomorrow. Love you guys. God bless. Have a good night. Prayers for all that need them. We'll see you tomorrow. Good night.
Night, everyone.
Thank you for the new members. Bye.
Good night.
Good night.